Welcome to episode 8 of the U.S. Essential Business Podcast. In this episode, we're heading out to sunny California and talking with Mr. Alex Pinedo, and Alex represents Active Sales. It's a distribution company out on the West Coast that covers all the way from Tijuana, Mexico, up to the Canadian border. So we're going to give a listen, Alex, and pick up on his insights to what they're doing during this COVID-19 timeframe that we're living in, and how they're surviving and how they're growing. So let's go to California. We'll give our attention to Mr. Alex Pinedo. With us on our next edition of U.S. Essential Business Podcast is a friend of mine, Mr. Alex Pinedo from Active Sales out in sunny California. Alex, how are you doing this morning?
Hey, I'm doing great, Craig. Thank you for inviting me to partake in your podcast. I appreciate it.
Hey, we're glad to have you. When I said this morning, I'm recording, it's after 2 o'clock here in Detroit, but still morning in LA, right?
Yes, it sure is. It's definitely morning time. We're here a little bit past 11 a.m.
Now I'm recording, it's May 8th is our record date, and it is snowing outside my window here just north of Detroit. So it's a balmy what there where you're at?
So here where I'm at, it's a nice 84 degrees. Sorry about that.
Hey, that's good. Hey, let's talk a little bit about your background and Active Sales background, the geography that you cover. What's your position in Active Sales as you are an essential business and you need to keep going?
Absolutely. Once again, thank you, Craig. So Active Sales started out back in 1949, and we've been in an industrial distributor most of that time. Back in the 60s, we brought our first major line was Hubble, which is a German tool. In the 70s, we brought on Paslode and BEA. In 82, we were fortunate enough to acquire the Spot Nail California division. And during that time, obviously our company grew quite a bit. We did also bring over some of their employees, which I'm proud to say that many of them are still with us today. In the 90s, we added the Senko line. And then back in 2009 and 2010, we started to transition the Bostage industrial business onto our platform. And so that took roughly about 2 years to finish up that transition. We now carry all of the major lines. And in regards to our footprint, we cover all of the Pacific states, including Utah, Idaho, and Arizona. And last year, we also opened up a new location, which is actually in Mexico, in Tijuana, Mexico.
Very nice.
As far as my background, I've been with the company now 30 years. I started out as a junior salesman, gradually worked my way up to a senior salesman, transitioned into the role of a regional manager, and now my position is the director of sales here at the company.
Wow, very nice. Good growth record for both the company and yourself, Alex. Congratulations. How many employees approximately do you have?
I'm sorry, I didn't hear you, Craig.
How many employees do you currently have?
So
approximately.
We currently employ roughly about 100 employees across our entire footprint.
Wow, very nice. Yeah, you guys are doing a great job out there, and sounds like we have similar track records for your company as well as Link Systems. So how has COVID affected the way that you're going to business, the way that you personally conduct your business, as well as how is Active Sales adapting?
Well, it's interesting. For starters, which I'm sure you'll agree, I never thought there'd be a day when I'd ask our servicemen and our salesmen to disinfect the tools before they start working on them.
Right.
As well as when they're done working the tools or servicing them, to make sure that they disinfect them and return the tools. So I never thought there'd be a day when we'd have to go to that extreme. But I'm glad that we are following that protocol to keep not only our employees safe, but also our customers as well. We were fortunate that it didn't take too long for us to set up our VPN connections with all of our employees who'd be working from home, as well as prior to COVID-19, we had actually already started working on and transitioned our VoIP system. So that was absolutely great. You could pretty much say it was a seamless transition for everyone to go from working in our office to start working at home. So that was absolutely great. We also made every effort possible to secure as much PPE products for our employees, for ourselves, to make sure that we all stay safe during this time. Um, we're also taking advantage of the downtime to upgrade our online portal. Our online portal would be more for our customers as well as for our salesmen to streamline and process orders as well.
Very nice. So, based on what you and I were talking about before we hit the record button, sounds like you're working from home as probably millions of us are now doing so, versus going into a nice, comfortable, familiar office. Maybe we're even working on a kitchen table. But what challenges do you find working from home, Alex?
Well, it's funny because, like you said, before we hit the record button, we were talking about that. And there's been times when I'll be in a meeting and my daughter happens to walk by and she's in the background there and doesn't realize it. And so that's already happened to me personally, as well as when we're doing any product knowledge classes or meetings. You could hear in the background some of the noise, extra noise in the background where family members are working or just having a conversation. Even a product knowledge class that we had where the individual who was holding the class, his son just came out of nowhere, gave him a hug and turned around and walked back in. It was all innocent and what have you, but this is kind of the new norm that everyone is adapting to and embracing, to be quite honest.
Yeah, you're exactly right. You're hitting the nail on the head. And I was watching the news this morning, and they are right from the Supreme Court. And you could hear somebody while the reporter was talking, and he was from his house. You could hear someone flush a toilet. So these are things that we would have never 3 months ago would have never expected. But it's like you said, the new norm. Some of it makes us laugh, right? We have to laugh. What else are we going to
Yeah,
do?
we definitely have to laugh right now. I totally agree with you, Craig.
So, being that you're a sales organization, you got several sales reps on the road, and well, now working from home, not so much on the road. How are they adapting? How are they maintaining their efficiencies? Calling on accounts? What's the direction that they're following at this point?
So in the very beginning, as you know, California was one of the first states to mandate a stay-home order. And we immediately put together or drafted a letter to go ahead and give to all of our servicemen and salesmen so that they could carry with them if there was any type of law enforcement, if anyone was enforcing the stay-home mandate, so they could show some documentation that they are considered essential business. We also immediately went ahead and issued them some PPE products, as well as a disinfectant so that they can disinfect their vehicle, disinfect the tools and what have you. Many of our servicemen, as they go into these factories, one of two things is happening. They either have to fill out a questionnaire and get their temperature checked prior to entering the building, or some of our customers have instructed our servicemen just to go ahead and text them or call them. They bring the tools out to their service vehicle. They and then in turn disinfect the tools, service the equipment, disinfect them once again, and then either text or call the customer. They come out to the parking lot, pick up the tools, and everyone leaves. So those are some of the precautions that they have to take. I've also done now where every other week I hold a Zoom meeting with all of our servicemen. We all get caught up. We see what if anything has changed out in the field. They in turn update us or update the group actually. We've also started a program now where all of our servicemen, they're all taking this time to clean their vehicles, reorganize them. And what I love about it is they're all taking these pictures of everything, of all of the before and after. And then during our Zoom meeting, we all share, review these pictures. And it's actually, I've noticed, is giving other servicemen ideas on how they could better reorganize their vehicles. So it's all been extremely positive. Some of our servicemen, more than ever, are now really the face of active sales. Some of our customers have asked our salesmen not to go to go visit them, but rather just to continue the servicemen. So more than ever before, they truly are the voice and the face of active sales. And I'm glad to see that they're all embracing this. They're all realizing how important their role truly is, not only to active sales, but to the customer. So it's been very enlightening and humbling, in my opinion, for them to feel that love, if you will, from our customers. And I think it's something very powerful.
That's really cool. I do have to have a follow-up question. You made the comment about they're the face of active sales. Is that face behind a mask?
Absolutely, yes. That face is definitely behind the mask. And I'm glad that everyone is taking that extra precaution, not only our servicemen and salesmen, but also our customers, which I think is absolutely great.
Yeah, and you're doing the right thing. We had a call this morning, and we said the same thing. All of our guys, whether you're sales or service, you do not show up without a mask. A, protection for yourself. B, protection for the customer, more importantly. But C, it sends a powerful message. Hey, we respect you, we care for you, and we want to do the safest thing possible. So glad to hear that you guys are doing the same thing. Now, you mentioned earlier about locating gloves and masks and PPE equipment for your guys. What unique challenges have you had finding those types of product, because they're in such high demand? Some of these things actually going out into the second and third markets, and we're seeing incredible markups if you could find them at all.
Yeah, absolutely. And that's a great question, Craig. So we've been fortunate to just recently secure a large quantity of masks. And we've started taking pre-orders. And within 24 hours, the momentum is there. It's obvious the need is there. And I'm proud that we are, one, able to secure the product, and two, able to now be able to put out there to our customers to give them some sense of security and comfort while they're either working or going to be returning to work. Our purchasing team has been doing an absolutely great job to secure these items. And I do agree, there has been some unfortunate competitors and manufacturers that have instilled a large markup, and we're just not partaking in that. We would rather not have the product available rather than to come off as an opportunistic company or distributor.
It's great to hear, Alex, and definitely respect your stance. It's the same stance that we took. We're not going to play that game. We're not going to participate in gouging, and really respect. If these are true business partners, we wouldn't do that to a partner, would we? We've been hit with several rounds of tariffs, whether it be our staple pricing, our nil pricing, a couple rounds in each category. And obviously, we've had to pass those along, and it's not something that we can afford to eat. But then on top of this comes COVID-19. How are you dealing with all of that hitting? And it really seems just one on top of the other, right on the heels of one issue, whether it's a round of tariffs, comes another round, and now we have COVID.
Initially, when the tariffs were imposed, we did face some challenges in regards to some of our customers, either not being educated or being aware of these tariffs, or quite the opposite. Some of them were actually expecting it. And when we did impose these tariffs, there was not that much pushback. Now, COVID-19, that by far has been put in the forefront. Tariffs have not come up the way that issues that have to deal with COVID-19 have come up. Right now, currently, most of our customers are more concerned about their safety, their well-being, and not so much about the cost of the fastener or the items. Mm-hmm. So we've made that a priority to make sure that we give them every sense of security or safety for themselves, for their employees as well. And that's part of the whole PPE products, the full line. It has been an issue trying to secure them, like we had said earlier. Before it wasn't, and now they're in such high demand. And in respects with like the N95 mask, that mask, it's for essential doctors, nurses, their priority number one.
First responders.
Yep, absolutely, first responders.
And any unique opportunities open up to you or active sales as a result of this? You mentioned, obviously, you got some. I love the sharing of the pictures with the service guys, showing what they're doing to their vans, how they're keeping them clean. Any other unique opportunities open up for you?
For me personally, there's a revolution going on right now in the sense of a digital revolution. So it's given us the time to embrace our virtual presence. I'm a big advocate of that. I feel that as distributors, we need to embrace that in order to secure our future, as well as to be able to partake in any opportunities that do come up. As our youth gets a little bit older and is put in place of some critical decision-making roles, their approach to reaching out to us is digitally. That's their first reaction, is to either pick up their phone or go to a computer and do a Google search. And so we need to be able to be prepared for that. So at this time, it's allowed us to educate ourselves a little bit more, either by attending webinars or by taking the time to improve yourself in regards to getting more familiar with YouTube, with Zoom, or even with Excel, being able to fine tune your ability to function in order to be able to use that function. I'm glad that all of our salesmen are embracing it. We've started a campaign to get themselves to promote themselves on YouTube. And so all of our salesmen, they created a video of themselves to share with all of their customers, just to let them know that we're still here for them. We've also put together a video of our warehouse, of our guys in the forklifts, loading or unloading trucks as they come into our docks. And that one is a video that we titled "We're Still Here," or we're still open. And we've shared that with a lot of our customers. A lot of our salesmen are also embracing the Zoom application, in the sense that they're setting up meetings with their customers. And, one interesting thing that I'm finding out is a lot of these purchasing agents that are working from home, they're accustomed to being at the office, 5 days a week, 8 or 9 hours a day. And a lot of them need that reconnection with the salesman. And so that's actually been great, because now, before, when it was really challenging to get a hold of someone, on the second or third ring, they're answering that phone and they're welcoming and making the time to talk to us. So I think that's absolutely great.
Great suggestions. I love the idea of the videos. We're doing similar things. We haven't done the "We're Still Open" or "We're Still Here" video. I think that's a great call. Letting your customers know that yes, we're still open. The story I've been telling my customers as well is the fact that we are open, and we're financially sound, and we're going to stay open. And talking to several customers out there, a lot of their vendors and suppliers have closed their doors. They were operating on margins, or maybe managing money not the best way, and they're not around anymore. So it's nice to know that Active Sales, Link Systems, and some of the other vendors that we're accustomed to working with have made the smart decisions, whether it be years ago or recently, to make sure we survive storms like this. So it's good to hear that you guys are doing the same.
Yeah, absolutely. And an interesting point that you just made right now, we have had several customers reach out to us where they were not purchasing certain items from us, and they've asked us if we carry those items. And as soon as we tell them that yes, we have it, the question of price doesn't come up. It's, can you secure this, X amount of quantity for X amount of time?
Right.
And I have a feeling that as they realize that we are that one-stop place where they can get everything, they're going to continue to be bringing those items even after this stay-home mandate and COVID-19 subsides.
Yeah, I totally agree, and that's a great call. How's your wife handling you staying at home?
She's doing great. My wife, we're all adapting to each other here. If anything, sometimes I think our pets have a harder time. As I had shared with you before, we have a bearded dragon. And so prior to all of this, it would basically be whenever I'd work from home, the bearded dragon and myself were home, and our dog. And so now that everyone's at home, my kids and my wife, they kind of start looking at me like, hey, when are things going to get back to normal? I miss the peace and quiet around the house. But everyone is acclimating to the new norm. My wife has been doing great. She's actually in the background right now with her students. She is a teacher's assistant right now. And so before she gets her own classroom, she and the teacher, they do their lessons with their kids online, either via Zoom or Google Classroom.
I got to tell you, from what I've been hearing about teachers, they are just amazing. We've always known they've been amazing. I mean, our kids, they're dependent on their instruction and their love and direction. But we think about during this time, they could have just said, "Well, I'm working. I can't go to school. I'm done." But now they're working from home. They're doing Zoom meetings. We had Kyle Fegley, one of our senior account managers, on a recent podcast, and he made the point that his wife's a teacher. She's working 7 days a week and working 12 hours a day now, which she wasn't doing before. So we think that maybe things are going to lighten up for them. Not so. It's the opposite. I'm sure you're probably seeing the same thing with your girl.
Yeah, absolutely. It's interesting that you say that. I remember watching that episode and thinking about my wife. Her and the master teacher, twice a week, they do bedtime stories. So about 7:30 in the evening, all
Wow.
the kids log on. And by the way, they're a kindergarten classroom. So they all log on, they're all in their pajamas. And my wife and her master teacher, they basically read a bedtime story to the kids, which I think is absolutely great. If anything, this has got me to realize just how truly unappreciated teachers are.
Yeah.
And more respect to the teachers, to the first responders. They are the heroes right now.
I agree. I don't know your wife, and if I did know her, I still wouldn't be allowed to hug her. So I'm going to ask you, could you hug her for me when this episode's over?
Yeah,
That's just
definitely
awesome.
two hugs. How's that?
There you go. I like it. Well, Alex, thank you so much for joining us for this episode, and look forward to the time we could see each other in person. I don't know when that's going to be, but when it is, and I hope we're not at the point we have to do air high fives or whatever. I don't know what the new the new greeting's going to be, but it's going to be different. But hey, we'll emerge out of this better and better prepared for our customers and taking care of them in the long run. So thank you so much.
Thank you, Craig, and I'm definitely looking forward to when we can all get back together. I know last year we were fortunate enough to be together out in Tennessee, and I missed those times, and I'm definitely looking forward to it. To
I
get back
agree.
to,
That was a great time, and hopefully we'll get there someday soon.
yeah, absolutely, to get back to some sense of normality, and which
Yeah.
we'll see what that's going to be like.
Yep. Let's hope so. All right, Alex. Thanks for all the hard work and stay safe out there.
Thank you, Craig. Thank you for this opportunity, and likewise for you and your family. Stay safe.
And one last thing, yeah, thank you. And one last thing, when it's snowing here in Detroit, I really appreciate you not texting me pictures of what California looks like at 84 and sunny. So thank you so much.
All right, I'll do my best not to do that. Thank
All
you,
right.
Craig.
Thanks, Alex. Have a great day. Look forward to seeing you soon.
You too. Thank you
All
so
right.
much, Craig.
Thank you. Bye bye. We'd like to thank Alex for his time and his insight for these past several minutes. And hopefully, we'll get to see Alex in the near future again. If you have any comments, questions, or suggestions, please don't hesitate to reach out to me. My information will be found in the comments sections down below. And don't forget to hit the subscribe button and give me a thumbs up if you enjoyed what you're hearing. Thank you again for your time and your attention. And please be safe, be a good neighbor, and be kind.